Hello friends, welcome back to the garage. I'm Paulie, this is Mike, this is a 77 Corvette, and this is Paulie's Power Hour. So you see the Corvette, it's a 77, it's got a 350 in it with a turbo 350 trans. It's a gorgeous car, a true survivor, but this is gonna go. This is gonna have to go. And we're replacing it with this.
355, 425 horsepower Pro Street engine.
Yes. And we're gonna talk about who built this. And we're going to give a good, honest review of, really, it's a wonderful experience working with this company. So without further ado, we're going to grab some wrenches, we're going to take this hood off, and we're going to start taking this thing apart. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this hood off. And as you can see there, Mikey is marking where these hinges go on the hood. That's just going to help with our alignment later.
Yeah, one particular thing with the C3 Corvettes, you got to be really careful with these fiberglass hoods. You close that wrong, you could crack the hood and need to replace the whole thing. And of course, that's not cheap.
Or even worse, crack the fender, which is all one piece.
Right. Now we got working space.
Yeah. Yeah, we should definitely get you some nice hardware for this.
Yeah.
All right. Now that Mikey's dumped coolant all over the floor, now I can... hey, making a mess. It's all right.
Fun.
I do it every single time I take coolant out. Don't feel bad. By the way, it's 9/16. Oh!
Residual?
There we go. So keeping with the taking everything apart theme here, I'm going to go ahead and remove these plug wires from this side here. Mikey spent the money and got these really nice ceramic boot coated plug wires. And I do believe a set of those is on short order for Big Mama. Alright, so I started pulling the plug wires off here. This is basic deconstruction. We're just undressing the front of the motor. Mikey's got the alternator off. We're about to do the AC compressor, which the AC works, so that's good. Carburetor's going to come off. Water pump's going to come off. And, I mean, really, there's not a whole lot to these carbureted engines when it comes to pulling them out. Disconnect the fuel lines, get all the accessories off. We're going to take this pulley off down here, take the water pump with the pulley off, and then all these brackets are going to get clean, painted, because you don't put new, beautiful jewelry under the engine compartment without cleaning up the brackets that attach to it. That's just not our style. this is going to present an interesting thing here because it goes to the back of the AC compressor. And these are, you know, stock size valve covers, but if you look, these are taller by about an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to brace this, because with the way the compressor sits and the way it's bracketed, if you don't have this, it's going to start throwing off belts. And that is what the French would call no bueno. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is cutting it here and then using some of this, bending it, cutting the other end, sticking it in here, welding it, and getting the angle that I need, and making it nice, painting it, welding it, doing all that good stuff. Mikey's undone the collector down here, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the oh, these are 3/8 by the way. First try. So one thing I did do is, since this wrench, this part here is dimpled and it requires a wrench instead of a socket, and I'm doing it basically like at a 1/4 turn a time, I put in a bolt back here and a bolt here, so when I get this one out, the weight of the header is not on this one bolt as I'm trying to turn it a 1/4 turn at a time to get it out of the head. You gonna cuddle with it there, Mikey? Oh, ceramic. Ceramic. Well, even though we're replacing the old motor, the good news is these cylinders are healthy. They're running a little lean. That's what this white stuff is here. But the important thing is the cylinders are healthy. So, we don't have to worry too much about this motor. It can be rebuilt and put back in something else. So we're going to talk a little bit about organization here. So as we take bolts off, we put them in bags, we label them, right? So everything here, and it goes into this box. New parts are across the way on the parts washer. Okay, so this is, new parts. And then as we go, Mikey's been taking parts off the old motor, and the things that bolt right onto the new motor, like this adapter here, the thermostat housing gasket, stuff like that, we bolt to the new motor as it comes apart. All right, update. We had to do a little bit of running around and get some parts, some more parts. Little tip, and we'll let you know how this works out. As you can see, the temperature sender goes here, and it's a 1/2 inch national pipe thread sender. Well, if you come over here to the new motor, you'll see that this is a 3/8 NPT. So what we did was we were going to come up with this convoluted way of doing this, which was going to really be a pain, and I'm glad we didn't do it that way. But this is off of an 82, 81 or 82?
That's off an 82 Corvette.
82 Corvette. So if this works with the stock 77 gauge, you'll know, and this will be a neat little tech tip for you. Well, we hit an odd piss moment. Taking the motor mounts out, whoever put Mikey's nice polyurethane mounts on there boogered up the threads, and we had to snap the starter bolt to get it off. There is no saving it. So we got to run up to the local auto parts store to get a replacement. But here we go. It's up, connected, ready to go. All right, motor's coming up a little bit. Hold on. Okay.
Is this connected?
No. That's going to stay in the car. That's what I need you to hold.
It's off this side.
How's it looking, Mikey?
This side's completely disconnected.
All right, here we go, Mikey. Coming up. Ready?
Yep.
What am I hanging up on here?
Oh, there we go.
Mikey's in here cleaning up the engine bay. And while he's doing that, I'm going to start sorting out some of this wiring. So while we were at our local auto parts store, we picked up some of this split loom in varying sizes and some electrical tape here. So when I'm doing wiring loom, I like to separate. Yeah, so I unplug this, right? And I got to see where this goes, where all the wires are, right? So some of this gets wrapped up and it kind of looks like spaghetti. So you kind of have to start making sense of all the madness, right? Like these 3 wires, these go together, but this one intertwines with this one. So you got to figure out where this one goes. You know, if you can unplug it, unplug it. If not, then, you know, no big deal. But you want to make this as clean and freshly loomed as possible. Mikey's touching that up with some semi-flat paint. You can see the progress I've made here. This looks so much better than it did with wires just going everywhere. And that looks so much more gooder than it did. And when it dries, it's going to be even gooder. We're talking crazy because it's almost midnight.
And there's fumes.
You can't use that as an excuse. We just started.
True.
All right, day 2. Mikey's gapping plugs. Motor's just about ready to go. I've got my fresh cup of coffee. And here we are. Here's my progress. I had to drive all over town just to find 1/4-inch split loom. How ridiculous is that? But I got this. And then we're going to put that in a loom. Put that in a loom. And then we are done. And we are stuffing this motor in here. So you notice now that these are all loomed. I got to remake this choke wire. We're gonna have to cut and splice this, so this will be loomed once the motor's in the car. But all of this, all that mess over there, all this is all cleaned up now. We just put the flex plate on, as you saw. Motor mounts are on. We did get this new thin timing tab, so we can see the balancer with this extended cover. And we are ready to go.